you think about? You think about? Be my lady. Meet me at the across the room. Wait, who is this? Uh-oh. we can't have any faves anymore. I'm like, wait, who's in this song again? Is that Run? I can't see. I'm like, no, that's not. Wait. Altering your white dress. We ain't getting no younger, girl. We might as well do this. Girl, you wanna know what's coming. Let's get married. In your white dress. Hey, we ain't getting no younger, girl. We might as well do this. We're starting off on a positive note because we might be fighting. Which side note? Let's turn the music down now. Yeah, side note, I'm not afraid to fight. And I don't mean that to like, I just mean I grew up in Georgia. I like arguing. I talk online. I must like arguing, you know? So to me, anyway, where's everybody tuning in from? Are you guys drinking or eating anything? Have you had water today? I'm currently sipping on a non-alcoholic Romeo's gin, which is confusing because it's a gin company, but it's a non-alcoholic like drink. I don't know. Anyway, this live will be only available for my patrons after. About to pick up some food. Ooh, Atlanta. Hey. I know you waiting for daddy. It won't be long. Shawty, be patient because she's coming to you. Riding dirty on 85. Slow, taking it easy. I don't want nothing to keep me from you. Some of you will know that song. Massachusetts. Jenny from Montreal. Hi. Hi, neighbor. Let's get married. Sorry, I got distracted. I was reading a comment because I was going to use some of these. Okay. Oh, I used to live in Calgary. I got divorced this year, not getting married again. What a scam. Damn. Oh, God. Wait, what? They didn't include Outkast? Not even in the top 20? That don't make no damn sense. That don't make no damn sense. Not SOS from Regina. Oh, goodness. Yes. We might even just watch the video together since a lot of people seem to be confused. But the majority of y'all got it. The majority of y'all got it. Okay, so as y'all know, there's that thing going around the internets, of course, more discourse, gender wars discourse about if a woman would rather choose a man or a bear if she came across a man or a bear in the wilderness. And statistically, if you come across a human versus a bear, no matter what the gender of the human is, the human's more likely to harm you than the bear is, unless you fuck with the bear, right? But that's not the question. The question wasn't human or bear, it was man or bear. And a lot of people, 7 out of the 8 women were like, girl to bear, girl to bear. And even in some of my comments, some of the guys, which I do agree with, were like, girl to bear, because man, the bear. But of course, this hypothetical question, a question that most of us probably wouldn't ever have to actually deal with IRL, turned into yet another way that people started like expressing their opinions, but fighting mostly. And I don't know. Anytime I see people doing the gender wars discourse, I have to chime in because I'm always like, guys, keep your eyes on the prize. We're focusing on the wrong things. But anytime I also bring up a point of, see, and we will get to this. We will get to this. Because facts, right? But any single time anytime I've made videos talking about men and patriarchy and things like that, there inevitably comes the comments from people that really don't like men, that really get upset. Anytime I could spend a video spending 80% of the time talking about the rightful reasons women and girls are scared of men or don't vibe with men or just irritated by them or say men are trash, right? If I spend 20% of the time talking about patriarchy and how it affects men, they don't hear that 80%. No. The listening ears turn off and they immediately go, stop wagging your finger at women. Stop telling women that it's their fault. Stop blah, 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 blah. I need y'all to stop putting words in my mouth. Because one thing I don't like is when people say I said something that I didn't say. Because I try to be intentional about my words and I try to be intentional about the shit that I talk about. So don't put words in my mouth. Don't make up a thing that you think I said because I did not say that. Please stop. That's the thing that irritates me more than anything. Don't speak for me. I'm loud. I can speak for myself. I said what I said. I didn't say what you thought you heard. I said what I said. See the difference? Okay. And even answering the question, this whole thing isn't about the question, because the question is just a proxy. It's just something for people, as far as I was able to see, for a lot of women to explain why they're afraid of men, why they would rather choose a wild animal than a man. That's fine. Like, it's the internet. You can say whatever you want. That's fine. But don't come to this corner that's about solutions and practical discussions and start bringing all that energy in here, because it's giving some of y'all have only seen a couple of my videos. That's what it's giving. That part, saying men have trauma under patriarchy, it's like the thing that I've realized is that people, if you're not saying their exact specific identity or thing, they're mad. If you're not holding their hand through the whole thing and saying their exact identity, they're upset. This is such a deep cut. Been around since before you had to take down the Leo movie CD from the wall. That is such a deep cut. Oh my God, I'm dead. Oh, appreciate you, Hunter Davis. I appreciate you. That is that. Yeah, that's wow. Oh my God. Oh, lovely. So, yes, Donald says, well, I see how women can be upset by not centering their trauma because white men have been centered everywhere. This whole thing about centering, I'm really tired of it. I'm going to just say it. I'm going to say the thing that people don't want to say out loud. I'm tired of it. If we're going to say multiple things can be true at the same time, then centering stuff, to me, sometimes that argument, maybe I just don't know the original source from where it came from, and I haven't found that. So fair. But the way it's been disseminated online, it's that we're tired of centering men. We need to center ourselves. And it's like, who are the ourselves that we're talking about? Because y'all are saying it's women, but is it women that are specifically like you? Are you centering women from the global south when you're saying women? Like, who are you centering? I don't know. It's just obviously you can't. I don't know. It makes me the centering conversation. Sometimes I'm just like, that isn't centering kind of selfish. And yes, there needs to be. I don't know. We're entangling this together, y'all, because I agree. Centering feels more like a tactic for ignoring the conversation that needs to be had as a collective. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm truly somebody that tries to hold multiple truths at the same time. And that means that there are going to be uncomfortable parts, right? So if I say that, and I'm not saying that to say it, I'm saying that and I'm going to explain it. When I say I hold multiple truths at the same time, I understand that I've been harmed by men recently, very recently, in some pretty fucked up ways. And I am also acknowledging the fact that those individual men are not all men. And the not all men conversation is annoying because when you have most of your experience with men being that they are irritating and ashy and harm you, to you it is all men. So I can hold that truth as well and acknowledge that there are men that I will meet that aren't like that. Like, yes, this will be on Patreon. But the centering part, to me, it's just kind of like, this is my moment to shine now. And everything is going to be about me. When it's like, if we're going to say multiple things can be true at the same time and everything's connected and we have to consider those things, maybe what's in the center is like attached to other things. Does that make sense? Center thing is very reductive. Just because someone has an identity doesn't mean that their experiences are stereotypical. We run ourselves into circles. Yeah, it's like people will stop and go, well, hold on. Let's use some comments as examples. Let's go through it, because most of them, I'm going to be honest and say a lot of them were mostly like, yeah, we get it. So I'm not sitting here saying everybody was freaking out. But it's just like enough videos of these that I've made where I'll have a section of people that somehow they found my content and they appreciate my nuanced takes and everything. And then the minute I add nuance about gender, they're upset. And it's always this reaction when I talk about patriarchy and talk about how it harms men. There's always this reaction. And I've done enough of these videos and had enough of these reactions where I'm finally like, oh, okay, y'all maybe didn't see me on Instagram, but I got mad. I was a little drunk. I'm not drinking anymore because I'm prepping for the show and stuff, but I was a little turned. And I was really not happy. But bro, okay. Anyway. Okay, let's see. I'm going to share my screen. So like an example, let's say one person just recently, in my opinion, you cater way too much to men in these videos. Their so-called, quote, lack of trust isn't actually that. It's denial steeped in shame. Pandering to that instead of demanding they confront it and be for real is enabling them. The only thing I said to this person was, so you didn't watch the video, because this is what I mean by you'll make a throwaway comment. So I made a whole series of comments about why there's a lack of trust between women and men, specifically why women wouldn't trust men, right? And then I say, well, also, maybe that's why, like the last part of like, and I'm observing that maybe men don't trust women. And that's why we see so many men being childish and being like, oh, well, Cassie just wanted money and blah, 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 blah. When actually you see the proof and you're like, okay. And some men will still say, well, she just wants money. She doesn't care about the fact that she was abused, right? That speaks to that man and some of those men's fundamental lack of trust in women. That is not that shouldn't be a controversial statement. It also isn't a pandering. It's literally just observing that, yeah, it seems like those men clearly don't trust anything women say. Even if video proof comes out that they've been abused, they don't trust it. But that's okay, Tony, bro, seriously, man, Tony's just in the closet doing nonsense. Anyway. But you know, it's stuff like this that lets me know people don't read the books that I recommend or watch this stuff. So many Bell was the data source of which being Vibes. Is it Vibes or did she interview men? Does she actually sit and talk with men? You know, I don't like when people who have never done this type of deep work comment things like that, because to me it's a bit disrespectful. I don't agree with Bell Hooks on everything. I'm a fan of her work, but I don't agree with her on everything. Generationally, we come from different perspectives. But what I don't appreciate is that this woman has written so many books about love and connection between genders, has spent her life working on this stuff. She's passed since, you know, has talks with people in real life about these conversations. And your thing is she just cares about vibes. She's making her work digestible, because if she used $50 words and statistics, you wouldn't care about the work. It wouldn't resonate with you. Like, I just, and this is why I have such a trepidatious relationship with the online, because I'm like, y'all only believe what you see on a computer. Anyway. Not well, at least the bear doesn't send uncomfortable energy while ripping your face off. Oh, God. So this person says, it's sad seeing a lot of men replying to comments of women's woes to certain standards and treatment, saying that men are also being subjected to such, but stopping there with no more thought. Yeah. Shouldn't then the logical conclusion be that we both are getting fucked over by unfair norms? Why pit against each other? Shouting at the other sex isn't going to fix anything. Oh, it's not letting me expand that. Okay. The one critique I have is that you assume women aren't listening to men express why they're upset with a question, or that women don't know why men are upset that the question was with that question or questions like it. I don't assume any of that. I assume that there are women that express this, and that's why I spent most of the video telling men, depersonalize it and listen. Like sometimes I just want to send people timestamps because I know they haven't watched the full video based on how they comment. But yeah. Women have been trying to explain this very concept to men, and also saying this, women in your life, you're using anecdotal proof right now, right? And women have been writing books about this, but how many men did you know go out of their way to read women, feminist writers, to even read dating books? Most dating books about connecting genders are geared towards women. The work could be out there, but if the men are going to engage and read it, women are talking into a void. And so I'm trying to understand why the men won't come read it. What is the big deal? Instead of just stopping and going, it's because men are biologically hardwired to be dum-dums. Because that's what some of the comments are giving. And it's weird to me that progressives and leftists would lean so far into this whole, well, men, if men rule the world, it'd just be an issue because they are completely like, their brains can't whatever. And I'm like, but don't we not like the whole biology talk when we're talking about gender? I think the better question is how many men even read. The better question is how many of everybody even reads. Come on now. So somebody says, I still can't bring myself to accept depersonalize it. When you're talking about men, you are talking about me. Would we accept this logic with other demographics? Here's the thing. When I say depersonalize, I mean, hang up your, this is what dialectical behavioral therapy is, right? And I'm not saying that to be condescending. I'm saying it because it's a practice I really appreciate. And this is why I always try to tell people, especially in progressive spaces, practice not just theory and discourse, but actually like what about your emotions and your mental regulation and all that stuff, because it's important. Because if somebody's going to argue a point that I don't agree with, I have to hear what they're saying from the perspective of they don't know me personally. They're just talking about their experience with people who look like me, which is not right. It's not to say that it's not fair. It's a stereotype. Yes. But if I want to actually hear what this person is saying, I can't make it personal. Otherwise, I'm going to be defensive about everything they say. Like this comment, you're in defense mode. And I'm not saying that to judge you. I'm saying it in like what I read. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I read is you're in defense mode because the minute somebody says men, you think they're talking about you, none of your business. None of your business? I love that. Okay. You think they're talking about you, none of your business. I'm not saying you, none of your business. You have harmed me. You have done this like that. No, I'm saying men have done this to me and it's made me feel X, Y, Z. And so when you depersonalize that, you're holding, in the dialectical behavioral tradition, you're holding two truths, multiple truths at once that are uncomfortable. This is what a window of tolerance is. It doesn't feel good to hear that because you are still a man. So there is some personalizing that it happens, even if it's not about you. But you have to hold that truth, that somebody else's truth and your own, to me as well. When I'm saying the truth, defining it, I'm trying to see things from as many sides as possible so I can paint a full picture. I always say this quote to y'all, Adrienne Rich's, the thing I came for the wreck and not the story of the wreck. How can I see this from as many sides as possible to paint as clear a picture as possible, knowing I'm going to be missing some things? But yes. And see, after that, you'll say, would we accept this logic with other demographics? You're already not able to, or willing to, it seems, listen to what I have to say about men because, again, the defense mode is there. And so when you're coming at something in this sort of defensive position and not with a, hey, this is making me uncomfortable and it feels uncomfortable, but let me just listen. Let me just humor this idea. You're not going to hear anything that the other person has to say. I don't hear what other people have to say when I'm in defense mode. I'm just worried about defending myself. I'm not thinking about the other person. And so that's what I mean by, and see, this is what I also be. You can't please anybody. I say this guy got that from the video, but a lot of women were like, you're too nice to men. What? Girl. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's continue on with some of these. Women have been trying to explain this very concept to why not all menning something just continues to prove our point that men are untrustworthy as a gender, at least since 2012 Tumblr days, girl. But I'm sure for decades longer than that, to be honest. You're sure? Like what? Okay. It's not that women don't listen to men. It's that men refuse to listen to women because it feels like a personal attack on their identity. And they are unused to that feeling. Okay, here's the thing. That's how you perceive it, right? That men are not used to having personal attacks on their identity. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. Not in the way that women have outwardly, but maybe it's also because men just don't talk about these things as much. How many men do you know actually talk about their body issues? When I made my baby reindeer video, I was surprised at the number of men that were talking about being CSA survivors or SA survivors. Like, we act like the things that we deal with as women and femmes are only unique to us, and they're unique in the way we experience them because of our identities, and our intersections will be even more unique. But if you are a human being living on this earth, being shown images and messages of how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to dress, how you're supposed to talk, and you are a person that doesn't fit into that standard, no matter what your gender is, you'll be affected by it. Some of us are just given more permission to talk more than others. How many of us have ever heard our dads say anything about their feelings? It doesn't mean they don't have them. I know men like this. I know guys like this that will only talk to their female friends to a certain extent about certain things. They don't even talk to their guy friends about it. Nomi, what's her last name? She's a developmental psychologist and she studies this. And she talks about how in adolescence, all of a sudden, boys just stop talking to each other. They have these deep friendships for a while. And then all of a sudden, in adolescence, it changes. When men hurt other men, you rarely hear them say it's attributed to men. It's my dad hurt me. Frank is an asshole. A woman hurts them. It's women. I'm not going to disagree with that one. I'm not going to disagree with that one based on my experience. That is something to think about. But then again, it brings me back to the gender wars thing. Why is it that men can recognize? Why is it that men are more likely to hurt other men? Let's be honest. That's just the stats. That's the numbers. I'm not going to keep bringing those stats up because they're there. They are right there for all of us to see. And the only reason I found those stats was because I was trying to disprove them. And I ended up realizing that I couldn't. That's what I mean of I'm not after something that's just going to confirm my bias. But anyway, why is it more incentive for men? Who is giving them the narrative that a woman hurts them and it's all women? That to me speaks to a fundamental lack of trust of women. And if I say men don't trust women, people hear, you see, people hear, women, what have you done to cause men to not trust you? I did not say that. I said it looks like when men say stuff like this, they don't trust women, because if you're going to take one woman as a standoff for every woman that's hurt you, you don't trust women, bro. So if women are doing that as well, it lets me know you don't trust men. And even if the reasons are justified to not trust men, the men that you've interacted with, in the video, I straight up say, if all the men that you've experienced have hurt you, to you, it is all men. And we talk about this systemic power. We talk about the difference. They're like, well, no, the difference is men are oppressors and women are always the oppressed. Y'all are talking like second wave white feminist. Y'all are talking like Kimberly Crenshaw does not exist. Don't talk out of one side of your mouth about gender nonconforming people and trans men and then turn around and paint every single man with the exact same brush. This is the discomfort of holding multiple truths. I have to acknowledge that men have harmed and hurt me, more likely cis straight men, if I'm being honest. But I also have to acknowledge that men also have intersectionality and intersecting identities, and not all of them are going to be in positions of power or oppressor. You're a middle class, maybe, person living somewhere in this part of the world. You're more oppressive to a man in the global south. But you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. You're a white tourist going to the islands and all inclusive. Are the men there still are the men that live on that island that work for you or work for the hotel for barely any money the oppressors? Or are you? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's very murky ground to just say that oppression is just this ladder that's just like this, when it's really a lot more messy than that, y'all. It's a lot more messy. And this is why I always try to bring up, you live in this part of the world, you're doing harm just by living here. And I'm including myself in that. I don't point the finger at y'all and say you're doing it all wrong if it's not something that I've also thought about. When Bell Hooks was talking about maternal sadism, I did not like that chapter, but I had to recognize that, yeah, in my personal experience, it is a thing where women will use their power over people that they actually have power over because maybe they don't feel like they have power over men, but over elderly, children, to assert that dominance as well. And if you learn that from men and you do that, but girl, please, y'all, please. Let's get into some of these super chats. Talk that talk. Thank you. Also, yes, please donate to the super chats. As you know, I do not monetize my live streams. I tried to monetize the Drake one, I think, but we'll see. A lot of men won't hear this because it would require them to address their own sins, and they simply do not have the strength/spine. It's easy. It isn't easy, to be honest. It's not easy. My taking people to task isn't just about men. It's about anybody. Y'all want to say in one side of your mouth, no one's above critique. None of us are. Donald's been in the chat. So many men have so much fear and they cannot speak it. And so they have envy that women can speak their fear and get comfort. See, that's something that a few of the dudes talked about in my Lil Nas X video. I had a few of the guys, some of them you'll recognize. Feek was in that one. A few guys, St. Andrewism, a few guys that I know personally, straight and queer, and they were like, yeah, there is this, I think Andrew said it, there is this envy that it seems like a lot of these homophobic men had towards someone like a Lil Nas X, or just femininity in general, because it is an expression that you can have outwardly that a lot of men aren't afforded. So Donald, keep spitting facts. Also, is this your real profile picture? If it is, hello, sir. When girls generalize all men as bad, makes sense. As bad, make sense, guy, check out. Wait, what? Are bad, it's sad. Love you. God bless. Hey, I'm so sorry. I didn't fully understand your question or comment. This shows how detached society has become from nature and how terrifying and deadly an apex predator is. Most people only have a reference point for men and none for bears. Not defending men, but both are bad options. Yes, but statistically, even if you did come across a bear, what is the stat? It's like you're more likely, I think I put in the video, more people die of bee stings than bear attacks. So there's also that. I'm sure the video was insightful and entertaining like all your vids, but I can't watch videos about these topics because they lead to very self-destructive thoughts as a man, especially one not, quote, handsome. How many guys have you heard talk about feeling not, quote, handsome, being that honest? Thank you for that honesty and vulnerability as well, because that's not easy to say. Thank you for speaking the quiet part out loud. I'm here for some truth. Amen. Coalition of gay trans guys in the chat. What's up? What's up? Me. What's up? Girl, I can't say not that. Oh yes, this is okay. Bellamy, I'm really sorry. I thought Bellamy was yelling at me for not telling the mods. No, what did y'all do? It's not. Tony. Aw, look at him. He's just hanging out. He's just a little guy. Oh, not him sitting up with his booty up, ready to get booty rubs. Oh, stop. Tony. He said, I need a booty rub. That's right, my little soft boy. You little soft boy. You my little soft boy. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I need to show you guys more of him. He's just so fucking cute. See? They always know when to pop into the chat, you know? Now Tony has had bottom surgery. Queer people and their cats, man. Yeah, you like a chin rub. Yes, she does. She likes a chin rub. You like a chin rub. Ooh, booty pad, yeah. Too much? Too much? Ah, big yawn. Oh, ah. Love you. Give me a kiss. 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 You know what time it is, Tony. Okay, sorry. I'm back. I'm focused. Sorry. What were we talking about? I just go off into my own little world when they show up. He's just such a good boy. You're just such a good boy. I love you. Okay. I just love him. Okay. My safety is always going to be more important than your feelings, period. Men don't get that because they are raised that their feelings matter more than anything. Are they raised that their feelings matter more than anything, or are they raised to not acknowledge feelings? To act like they don't have them and therefore they don't matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is very much, I'm speaking from my personal experience of being harmed by men, which is valid. And I've said that multiple times. I'm never going to take away someone's personal experience of being hurt by men. That's not something I'm here to do. I don't know your life. I can't do that. Yeah, medically, their feelings matter more because, yeah, you'll look at stats and women will act like women's pain is less likely to be believed than a man's, you know, but that's our social ideas of that stuff too, right? Yeah, IDK about that one, champ. If anything, you may be able to say sense of entitlement. IDK about feelings, though. Say more things. I don't know if I fully understand what you were saying there. You know what I think? They're simultaneously raised to put their feelings over others while suppressing them. Based on my experience with men in my life, what I would say, maybe more so to flesh this out a bit more, is that men are more likely to not acknowledge their feelings, even though they still have them, and act like they don't. Like, men like to act like they're more rational. I'm not emotional, blah, blah, blah. When a man will do the most wild, out of pocket shit, and you'll be like, girl, you are having an emotional reaction and I need you to regulate it. But they don't see that because to them, it's not feelings. That's not feelings. They're not having feelings, okay? Do you know what I'm trying to say here? Just to flesh out what you were saying there, Emily. So it comes across as putting their feelings over others. But if you really sit and ask a guy, talk about feelings, they're like, duh. And that's rude to generalize, but a lot, girl. You said, oh, I'm talking about men's feelings mattering more. I don't think it's about that. I think it's more about a sense of entitlement that dudes be conditioned to have. Entitlement to femme bodies. Yeah, I've talked about this before in the Drake video. There's an entitlement to, at the hands of patriarchy and a whole bunch of other ideas about what it means to be a man. You're entitled to everything that props you up as a man. And we have to acknowledge those are certain kinds of men, because there are other men that don't feel entitled to shit and will try to take it because of that too, because they don't feel entitled to the things they're supposed to, which I guess is still entitlement anyway. It's like how anger is one of the most socially acceptable feelings for men, but anger is often a surface emotion and they don't have the space or know how to dig into the fears of sadness behind it. Yeah. And also, anger is an acceptable emotion for some men and some people, because as Dr. Mark Brackett talks about in how permission to feel, display rules. These are the rules and regulations that we have about who gets to express their emotions and who doesn't. And as a Black femme, a lot of times I'm not allowed to express my emotions the way I want to because people automatically go, well, they'll say, again, this is why I love talking about some of y'all will say out of one side of your mouth, women don't owe you shit. I don't need to be polite to you. And then I say something like this and y'all are like, stop wagging your finger at us. Display rules. You see how when you have to talk about the intersections of people's identities, things get murky? Yeah. It's not comfortable. Poop Woman, you have won today's username prize. The prize is that you get a shout out about winning that, and also congratulations on the diagnosis. And I'm proud of myself for saying your name with a straight face. Because I am a child. All right. Just shout out to Poop Woman. Exactly. Thank you, Powerpuff Girl. I just love the chat. Everyone's like, congratulations, Poop Woman. So this dude said, so man here, I pick bear too. I guess to answer the question of value, it depends. Initially, I derived my value from what I was able to do. I was miserable and felt entitled to partnership and love. Look at the honesty here. Oh, I love it. I viewed romantic love, as transactional. Needless to say, it took a lot of work to unlearn things, and I even backslid into the manosphere. It wasn't until my now wife started dating me and some prodding on her part that I started to realize why I did a lot of those negative behaviors. Most of it was recognizing that there isn't a lot of good sources of masculinity, and it is now incredibly hard to define outside of providing and protection. I guess men need to be more self-conscious about their effects on the world around them, to have a firm gentleness and be able to understand where people are and not judge them for their position. Love it. Because, yeah, if you were a man, you should actually pick a bear, especially if the options are. The book is on the screen, y'all. The book is on the screen about the feelings and display rules, but also just Google display rules and you'll find information on it. And, people will hear. I'll address this in a second. People will hear that first part and be like, well, why did his wife have to teach him? Why didn't he learn on his own? Do y'all care about community or not? And if she wanted to help her husband out, isn't that a woman's right to choose what she does with her time and her energy? If you don't want to help men out, that's fine. But why? You know what I'm saying here? Okay. Also, your argument in defense of bell hooks using anecdotes. Okay. Well, it wasn't just bell hooks. Terrence Real, who is a family psychologist who actually spends time in his sessions, who has done this work a lot, also talks about this. I also put stats in of men harming other men and how statistically men are victims of violent crime more than the rest of us. They are. Again, I went looking for information that would disprove that would prove that like Black women suffer more than men and blah, 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 blah. But that is what I found. So for this, Again, this just feels like you just want to, well, what about this? What about this? Are you actually listening to what I'm trying to say? Or do you just want to find any reason to be upset about the fact that I'm bringing up that there is a problem with men that we need to address? Because this isn't, you're not bringing any points of criticism to me that I can actually unpack. You're just saying your argument in defense of bell hooks using anecdotes. Maybe I'm misreading your message. Maybe I'm misreading it. But I'm also like, have you read this book? Okay. Like I told y'all, I'm not afraid to get up in here. This is the closest y'all gonna get to saying it to my face. So you may as well say it with your chest. I will gently disagree with this point because there are some stuff that she says in there where I've written notes like, girl, Belle. Girl. Because I'm also a non-binary degenerate. So I'm like, this binary thing is also part of the problem. But anyway, but I do agree that a lot of the points, it feels like it could have been written yesterday. But again, there's some points where I'm like, Belle, you know? Okay, let's go through more of these comments. Again, please, if you actually want to challenge me on the stuff that I'm saying, you're more than welcome to. But I'm going to talk right back. So I'm forcing you to think about what you're about to say because I've thought about this stuff. I'm not just saying it because I like to talk, although I do like to talk as well. Wow. I tell this story a lot to my friends, but when I was essayed by a woman as a man, prior to my transition, I would often be laughed at or belittled. One friend even going as far as to say, men will come up with any excuse to be a victim. Ooh! However, now that I've transitioned, people do take me seriously, but only because they assume this happened to me as a trans woman. What do the children say? Big yikes. Somebody said it's women and children first because men were not doing that before the rule was in place. What? Although, actually, maybe true. Maybe true. Maybe it's women and children first because men weren't doing. Damn. Damn. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. Thank you for this person for making a little fun. Also love Johnny Depp and spent all of spring 2022 abusing Amber and discrediting her abuse. I didn't fucking forget the harassment I received for speaking up for Amber. Ooh. I noticed some of that too. I think this whole thing is very very sexist against men, and it is nothing. I kind of overstated why a lot of men don't want anything serious with women. Most men are not out to get you, and since there's only about 3 bears and 8 billion men, okay, these numbers are made up, but anyway, and most women have never met a bear in the wild, and still people get killed every year by a bear, and not very nice. Okay, I don't think English is his first person's language, so I'm going to be fair about that. Which is why I don't understand. Yeah, I'm going to be fair about the fact that I don't think English is his first person's language. But not that dude is out to get you. Okay, but this is the thing, right? Because if you say sex is against men, you'll hear women go, sexism is about misogyny. It's not about sexism against men, right? Because you're talking about the power structure and like women can't be sexist against men because men hold more power. Depends on the situation, yes, as we've discussed earlier. Also, I'm not even going to address this because I talked about it in the video. You're more likely to get stung by a bee and die from that than you are getting mauled by a bear. Like y'all are focusing on the bear thing and it's not about the bear. Like it's not about the bear. It's not about the bear. Let's stop talking about the bear. Ah! But I like this point. A few people brought it up. When you ask a man, would you rather have your daughter, wife, girlfriend, mom, sister in a forest with a man or a bear? Most will choose a bear. Yet when we choose a bear, they get angry. And you are not lying. You're not lying. A lot of men were in their feelings about it. And this is, I'm saying this because I'm currently working on a video about hip hop girl dads and how a lot of those rappers will, out of one side of their mouth, talk all sorts of misogyny, don't give a fuck about women. But then in the second part of their mouth, they're like, my daughter, she's my queen. I'm a protector no matter what. So I'm just saying, this, not a single lie. Not a single lie. Masculine domination. A teacher in my university told me it was nice for text for graduation, completion, and work about racism, feminine. Beginning your portals text. Okay, I'm going to look at that in a bit. Okay, because this, I think this person is talking about, let's correct. I think they're talking about when I asked, do they feel like they need to, or if you think that that's, no, yeah. Like, do men think that they just need to provide? Oh, shit. He didn't know I have to scroll all the way down. Wah. So it would be discussed with the discourse they need to hear. Oh, yeah. We're almost there. Okay. They're a man in a relationship and their woman partner is the breadwinner. We both work, but she's college educated and I'm not. I don't get this feeling from her, but I do feel a lot of internal pressure to keep shit moving. That if I'm not at the crank, keeping the house cogs moving, she's going to take my stepkids and move on. I relapse when I get sick from not resting, even when she is the one telling me to lay my ass down. As boys and men, we're constantly told by women that your value comes from your utility and disposability, which I think contributed a lot of male confusion and vitriol in the discourse. A bear can't do shit for you. A bear is much less useful. Why would you be picking the bear? It's dumb, but I see the underlying thread there. I like this point, actually, because there's listen, a lot of men were probably coming at it from that, like a bear kid, like the comment that we just read before that. Why would you choose a bear? Bears are dangerous. Bears can't do shit for you. I'm a man. I can at least provide, blah, 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 blah. What I'm hearing in that is, girl, is that all you can do? And also, if we're going to talk about the fact that like maybe there's a crisis of masculinity, do guys feel like they have a place in the world or know what they're doing now that more women are in work? Now that more women don't need relationships or men? More straight women? What is your place in that world? If you were told you're supposed to do this one thing and people are like, we don't need you for that. Actually, we don't need you anywhere. Please get out of here. Why are you breathing? Go. Bye, Jay. Bye, Jay. There is self-centering, but a lot of men think this way. That's what I mean by like when men talk, I listen, not because I think every single thing they're going to say is perfect and great and like no, but it's when people are talking about their feelings around something, to them it is the truth. And if I'm going to come to the, as I often do, to say, men, decenter yourselves, listen, I'm also going to try and do that for myself too, right? And who set up the system of masculinity in the first place? Mr. Masculinity. Girl, I don't know the man's name. Like, we also are like looking for like the source and like, yeah, it's men, but I'm not going to act like it was only men that were doing this. Rafia Zakaria points out in her book Against White Feminism how many white women went to South Asia and you know, they didn't have colonial power Back home, they didn't have the same type of power that white men, wealthy men had. But when they came to India, they did. And they were trying to bring feminism to Indian women. And Indian women were like, girl, we don't need this shit. And also, we already have our own things in place. Like, y'all are acting like we don't also, women in the global South, have minds to think and want to fight for our own rights. Came in on some savior shit with a lot of that same masculine, self-centered energy. John Patriarchy. Okay, we're going to call him John Patriarchy. John Patriarchy did it, and then Jane Patriarchy didn't like it, but realized that she could do it in other places. You see? What's going on in this chat? Girl, who do I need to talk to next? Who do I need to lovingly lovingly have a come to Jesus moment with next? Yep, you are not wrong about that. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was very nice, this person. Can you just cat? What does this mean? Women say man is more dangerous than bear for the same reason they say that all their friends are perfect 10 goddesses. What? If we all give the same answer, the question is meaningless. If we all agree men are the enemy, we can have bargaining power. This is I'm sketched out by that comment. I'm sketched out by that one. Sir, what do you mean? Yes, but see, it's not about the bear, y'all. Men don't like to be valued less than wild animals. Why is that a surprise? It's not a surprise because it's not about the bear. Again, some men are only focusing on the bear, some women are. I'm like, y'all. Are they trying to say being a girl's girl? I don't know. It's giving like women are using like the whole women have sex and are sex, as Julia Serrano says, so they withhold sex from men and men come to take it. Patriarchy is even less about men. Patriarchy is even less about men than about masculinity and dominance through men, through the patriarch. Okay, see, some people are just talking about the animals. Don't stay with a man that is American? What? uh, Honestly, if the conversation was opened up with the frame of the societal view of men as a capitalist view of men, you are only valuable for what you provide as a man in the capitalist hellscape we live in, which is becoming harder and harder for everyone, including men. But that is all projected onto men. What are you if you can't provide? I think it might seem more approachable to them. Maybe, yeah, maybe that would be the case because I don't think men like to hear that patriarchy is the problem. So I don't disagree. Like maybe that would have been a better like, and to me, all of it's connected, but sometimes I might take it for granted that other people understand that I'm saying all of this is connected. For people who are not the ideal person under a white supremacist patriarchal capitalist society, they've always had to find and make their own happiness around and outside of systems that, because they didn't perfectly belong with to begin with, belong in to begin with. And I think men en masse are more and more getting to a place of not meeting the standard, but having nowhere to go from there. Men are hurting right now, just not necessarily in the way they think. I'd agree. Let the church say amen. Also, yeah, y'all stop this. We are not interviewing the bear. Y'all are unserious. Kay, and who else is in here cutting up? Kay and who else? Juicy J, y'all be serious. Be serious, y'all. Over here acting foolish in the chat. Talking about interviewing the bear. Y'all were all okay. I'm kicking all of y'all out. I'm kicking all of you out. Now, oh, she found us. Yes, I did, JoJo. I can see y'all. Oh, God. Mm-hmm. A lot of men are disingenuous in their distrust and disbelief in women, and women are picking a damn bear that meet up with and fuck random men. Oh, sorry, I didn't read any of these before. Hold on. And women are picking a damn bear that meet up with and fuck random men that they meet online. So that's confusing to me. I don't know. Cis people just confuse me in general. I don't know if they meant to be funny, but this was kind of funny. Because what? Oh, God. This person just said, I don't understand you cis heterosexuals. I don't get it. Not a flow chart. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And I'm also not doing another book recommendations video. I do so many of them, and people either don't watch them or they live on my Patreon, and people don't get the books. I know some people are new to my channel, but like, y'all got to learn to dig around. You guys got to dig around. I know there's a lot of content, but if you really want to find the information, you will find it. Okay. You see what's wrong with y'all? Because none your business. What's going on here? I'm glad you stayed in the chat, but Nunya, what's going on here? Unserious. Although, you know what? The fish rots from the head. I'm unserious, so I guess I deserve this. Mm. You know, that's the question I'm asking. Are y'all focused? Can y'all focus up? JoJo, stop. Can y'all focus up? Everybody focus. Have you gotten it out of your systems? God damn it. We are having a serious discussion. Y'all are so, oh my, focus. Wasn't we just, yeah, we were actually. But some of y'all, and I know the suspects in here, look at Bellamy. And not the mods also doing this. Okay. Y'all. Yes, thank you. Lock in. Let's lock in. Let's come back. Let's come back. Let's focus up, y'all. My goodness. All right. Anyway. Yeah, see, this is the problem here. What are y'all going to replace it with? This already lets me know you're not on the same team, because why are you talking about y'all? And why do you want everything patriarchy is oppressing? I love when people start an LOL. What about women who uphold the patriarchy? What about the hurt women have caused? The whataboutism. Also, patriarchy can't be easily dismantled. And even if it does, what are we going to replace patriarchy with? This is the same thing people say when you talk about capitalism. They're like, what are we going to replace capitalism with? Do y'all think capitalism has just been around forever? Before that, it was feudal law. And before that, I don't know what it was because I don't study ancient history. But I'm just saying, honestly, what is it? The braids? Because truly, y'all, this is what happens when I also ask for an imaginative spirit. Y'all can't even imagine something beyond this patriarchal thing because this is the blind obedience part. You're so tied to this idea. Well, what are we going to replace it with? Well, instead of a dominator model, you have a partnered model. That's an idea for one. What's a partnered model? Well, I don't know, maybe not coming into a relationship thinking that one person is the dominant provider and valuing, or even if you are two opposites, let's say you're somebody like you have a traditional relationship. It looks traditional on the outside, right? Maybe you're a woman and you do house things and your guy works outside. Those relationships could maybe work, maybe work in terms of power dynamics, maybe, although we have to be honest about the fact that if somebody's making money and the other person isn't, if that other person doesn't have money, there's already a power imbalance there. But anyway, let's ignore that. Let's say both of you make money, but one chooses to stay home and the other one chooses to go out and work. You have to value each other's contributions to the relationship you're building equally, or as equally as you can. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to think you're the more important person in the relationship. How can you be in a relationship and think that what you bring is more valuable than the other person? What kind of relationship is that in my eyes? And also to me, again, non-binary degenerate, the gender binary in general to me is kind of like, nah. But I also don't want to take away something that people identify with because girl, we're in the age of Aquarius. Everything's being taken away from people. Everything's being uprooted. People are confused. People looked up bald-headed and confused after COVID and were like, okay, wait, the world has completely changed. So I get it. Some people are clinging on to the last vestiges of their identity. And some of that is really about their gender. For me, not so much. But I've gotten into art on, clarify. I usually say like season 4 of the pandemic, but when I say after COVID, I mean after March 15th, like after it started and everybody had to be inside. But yeah, like season 4. Aquarius, the age of Aquarius in astrology. It's all about things are changing and shifting. I absolutely only feel valued for what I do. That's also tied to the American mentality on work. You work more hours, you get more money. And since money is directly tied to quality of life at the lower strata of society, of which I am a member, the idea is tied in a very nice bow and gives it credence. Valuing someone for who they are is something hard for men to do, as well as to accept, because people feign valuing us to get us to do things. And again, that other person's comment earlier about how maybe if I approached it in a like capitalism is doing this thing to y'all and patriarchy's tied to it. But, you know, I have the Trojan horse patriarchy, that argument through a capitalist one, because men don't want to hear patriarchy bad because they immediately assume that means men bad. Whereas if they hear, hey, capitalism's hurting you too, buddy. Hey, buddy, capitalism's it's not doing you any favors, man. Maybe that makes the pill go down easier. So I do appreciate this comment. Well, I think it's also wise for women to sit with and unpack their trauma. It's not going to make the world safer for them, which is fair. Which is fair. Be open-minded, but protect yourself. Yeah, I think ladies, listen and connect to men you know and trust, and even the trustworthy men you're getting to know. But you should never endanger yourself to hear someone out, hurt feelings or otherwise. Yeah. Discernment is a thing as well. When I'm telling y'all to be more open-minded and care and all this stuff, I'm not saying to just give it to anybody and just throw it all away. Like, I don't talk in absolutes like that. That's not safe. That's not safe. No matter how much I want to be open to men and care about men, they still be trying the shit out of me. Yes, cautiously optimistic. That's the thing, that's the brand that I operate under. I'm cautiously optimistic. And you need to use discernment. I operate in the world and I try to be open. I try to take people at their word and meet them where they're at. If they hurt me, then I know how to act accordingly. That's how I like to operate, right? I'm also somebody that currently I'm taking boxing, Muay Thai, I do pole dancing and ballet. I'm trying to be physically strong, not just for my opera show, but because I want to be able to walk around the street and know that if anybody tried it with me, I'd be able to physically defend myself. And I'm not somebody that likes to physically fight, but I want when people walk by me to be like, oh, I'm not going to fuck with them. Or they'll usually say her because, my hips and my thighs they're like, Mari, that's a woman, but okay, I'm going to check some of the super chats because sorry, y'all, I missed some of them. Yeah, maybe Tony has. After I heard that so many men gave a standing ovation to Hunter from Kansas City, I understand why women chose the bear. That was, girl. Sorry, LOL. When women generalize all men as bad men, it makes sense. Guys don't want to listen no matter what. They'll be seen as bad regardless. Love you. Sorry, not sorry. Nope. Oh, good night in Irish. How do you say Orsh? Mate? Oh, God. How do you say that? Sad truth is that the first things that hegemony asks young boys to do is to emotionally castrate themselves. Quote, boys don't cry, huh? That part. I remember interviewing guys for another video and the amount of them that were just like, oh yeah, I just remember, the moments where in the same way that I talk about, sorry, I was interrupting myself, but in the same way that I talk about like to young women, when did you realize that you went from being a young woman, a little girl, just carefree, not all of us felt that way, but for those of you that did, valued and protected or cared about, or even just like not paid attention to in any sexual way. And when did that switch? And all of a sudden you walk down the street and grown men were talking to you and being inappropriate, saying how much you've grown up. And other adults, women around you were saying, again, upholding this idea, this misogyny, that it was your fault. Why you look so grown? Why you look so fast? Right? Instead of putting the blame on those grown ass men. Young men, when did you reach that point where all of a sudden you weren't allowed to talk about your feelings, where you cried, and instead of being held, they went, men don't do that. Stop fucking crying. I just, for me, my approach, and when you say you're a humanist, it sounds so like frou-frou-y and like there isn't any like actual thought behind it. But like, I think about a lot of this shit, y'all. And I care about people's humanity more than anything. More than I care about the genitals they have and the gender they were socialized in. And again, I still use discernment. And when people try me, I let them know. But as Bellamy is saying, you can't build community without being vulnerable. And a lot of us do not want to be vulnerable at all because we've been burned a lot, and that's fair. But it's also, and I should have put this in the video too, it's not just about a lack of trusting other genders. You don't trust yourself because that's what it is. If you're being honest, there's some times where I've had to really stop and go, do I trust myself when it comes to the way I date men? Because I'm not sure that they are trustworthy. It's twofold. They have acted untrustworthy, so it's hard for me to. And I also don't trust my own judgment in sussing out who is trustworthy and who isn't, because I've been wrong so many times before. It's yes, and it's both of those things. And this is why it is important to consider the fact that you are always in relation to people, no matter what. If you're dating people, just ghosting them, you might think that it's just a thing that you did, but that's going to affect the way that person sees other people. And it's not all on you, but part of you has that responsibility to bear for doing that. If you harm somebody in a relationship, we've all done it, you know? I've had to really sit back and think about the ways that I have screwed people over in relationships, or not screwed people over, I guess, but just like, you know, been an emotional wreck, disaster, emotionally manipulative, all this stuff before finding out about the BPD and then being like, okay, girl, it's time to focus in. It's time to heal, you know? And I talk about an ex of mine that I always, you know, and we're friends now, but I always message him, or there was times where I'd message him after we broke up and I just apologized for things that I realized I did during the relationship that were so fucked up. They were like physically harming. It wasn't stuff like that, but it's still like, that's going to affect the way a person sees their judgment in themselves. Like, you have an effect on them. You are in relation to others. So you need to act responsibly with people. And not everybody's willing to do that. A lot of people aren't. And a lot of us put our, well, I don't want to be hurt, or, well, other people do it and blah, blah, blah. We put all these things as excuses for why we can justify the way we treat each other. But at the end of the day, you have to take on part of that responsibility. If you've done that stuff to people, it's going to affect how they see others. If you're a man that has been a fucking asshole to women, you're most likely not going to be watching this video or sitting and thinking about this, maybe. But some of you are. Some of you might be introspective and be sitting here going, wow, I actually have been a dick. That is going to affect how that woman dates other men. And it's not solely your fault because you're one person, but you bear a portion of that responsibility because you didn't handle that person with care. And I get it too, because like, there's people that will treat people horribly without, on purpose. And there are people that will treat people horribly unintentionally, and they don't even see it or realize it, you know? So I'm not saying this again from a place of judgment, and I'm going to say my shit first. I'll lead with my shit that stinks before I'm pointing the finger at y'all, because I want you to know that you are allowed to change and be introspective and be like, okay, actually, yeah, I need to figure it out. Because again, when I was reading The Will to Change, I didn't want to hear about the ways that women use our emotions to be manipulative. And I'm not saying that to say every woman is manipulative. And this is turned into a manosphere podcast. Please do not try me. If you think that that's what I'm saying, you're purposely not listening to me, and you don't want to hear what I have to say. So you could just go somewhere else, please, because that's not what's happening over here. I'm acknowledging, again, the multiple truths. I can be in a heterosexual relationship with a man, and they will not talk about their emotions. They will not express their feelings. They will act like they don't have any and will be complete. It'll feel like complete disregard for my emotions. And I will use my emotions to get what I want from them. It's happened. It's not some truth that I like to hear about myself. I think about those things and I fucking cringe. There are people that I wish I could message to apologize to that don't want to talk to me. But that's the truth of it. There are some people that I did not handle with the kind of care that I should have. And there are people that did not handle me with the kind of care that they should have. Don't do me. Not progressively more hostile towards us. First off, it's they, them. I'm kidding. No, I was going to be like, bitch, but like, I'm trying to be funny about the hostile thing. Anyway. Sorry, y'all. I'm going back into the super chats because I didn't want to ignore it. Okay. I'm a cishet white dude with anger issues. These anger issues were given to me by the world, but the world hates when I'm angry. They're given to you by the world, and what are you doing personally besides just realizing it? Because realizing it is a good first step, because people won't even admit that they're angry. It took me a long time to admit that I was actually angry. Even though I internalized a lot of it, it took me a long time to realize and admit, oh, I'm pissed. But what are you also doing then? Because the world is giving you this thing, but now what are you doing now that you're in awareness of it, right? Muffin Poots. That's such a cute name. Muffin Poots. Muffin Poots. Oh, Muffin Poots. And also unpack that anger a bit, because it's anger's an emotion, but it's kind of like a surface level one that has a lot of, anger is a rich text. Anger is a rich emotion. It has a lot of layers, girl. To clarify, I more than understand why women feel the way they do, especially since I'm 6'2" and very broad-shouldered with bad RBF. I get it. What's RBF? Also, are you pitching for dating? Ladies, I'm 6'2", broad shoulders. I could understand why you choose the bear. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you, because this is also something that my little brother has said, right? Like, I know my little brother. He's a cancer. He's so cute. He has a little lisp. He got a gap. He's just so funny and adorable. But he's 6'2". He got a deep voice, and he's mindful of his presence. He's mindful of that around women. What does that feel like to walk around like that and not feel like you're a threatening presence, but be one, right? Oh no. As a man, I truly don't feel like people in my life care about my feelings unless it's anger. Most of the time, I suffer in silence or with tequila. I'm just holding space for that. This is a lot. Hey, Julian. I hate that. Not hate that like it's a bad thing, but it's just like we all have to consider that, right? If I feel this lonely, I can't be the only one that feels that way. So then why wouldn't I consider that others might feel this way too? You know, I don't know. Man, And this is the thing that I also don't love about being on the internet, is that as much as like we're talking and doing all this stuff, this is digital. I can't do anything other than talk on, I don't know. Sorry, that made me really emotional. This is not going to be like the Bluey video again. But I don't like to see people hurting. And I just wish more of us considered that when we're dealing with each other. And it's not to say that I'm always nice and happy and good. I told y'all I was cursing people out on Instagram because I was pissed. But more times than not, I don't know. Oh, here comes Donald. All comes down to empathy. Men need empathy to hear women are scared of men. Women need empathy to hear it hurts to feel rejected and alone. Ooh. Let the church say amen. Donald is giving us all. Donald is just Is Dr. K Happy Gamers channel? Happy Gamers something? Because if so, I fuck with them heavy. I said whole bag of dragon fruit. Yes. Healthy Gamers. Yeah. His description of borderline made me like cry. And I sent it to a few people that I knew because it was the best way to describe how I felt emotionally with like the most compassion. Oh my God, he's fantastic. We shouldn't have to trade safety for provision. I can provide for myself. I choose Bear. Least Bear gets his own money and I don't have to wash his sock. What? Oh, y'all. Okay, so Muffin Poots, you're clearly funny and unserious. Y'all. I learned a long time ago that when women speak, it's best to seriously listen. Only through community can we make positive changes that benefit all. And again, as Bellamy has been saying in the chat, and you can only have community if you're willing to be vulnerable. And it's a hard trade-off. It's hard because to be vulnerable, you are literally exposing. You have to trust to be vulnerable because you're making something that is important to you vulnerable to somebody else's actions. It ain't easy. Again, that's why discernment, all of these things, multiple things at once, y'all. Muffin Poots, you don't have to keep sending money. This is so funny. I'm trans mask, and it's weird when a femme presenting person call me mask terms in a derogatory way when I'm expressing a negative emotion. I don't know why it bothered me until now. Wait. Sometimes, as a boy raised entirely by women, I remember getting defensive when my mom and aunts would talk about how men have been kind of shit. Took a lot to learn to depersonalize where necessary. Yeah, but then it's also a thing of like, yeah, when the men in the manosphere are like, oh, women, blah, blah, we get pissed. Because maybe a lot of their actions, maybe a lot of their interactions with women are true, and maybe more times than not, it's just them doing clickbait, rage bait shit just to get people to click on and cause gender wars and make their money. We're going to be honest. So maybe not the manosphere. The manosphere is probably not a great example. But like, I don't know. I just think, oh wait, I'm going to show it again. If you're around hearing that, you're only around women and you're always hearing that probably feels a little shitty. I'm not going to lie. As a guy who came out in college, I keep noticing the extent to which women are so much more comfortable with me after I present myself as queer. That is also true. I, for a while, had a rule where I would only date bisexual men because I was like, straight cis men, y'all are trying me, and I'm not doing it. And see, and that was me overgeneralizing men because I was like, I don't, and that was also me going, I don't trust my judgment with straight cis men right now. So I'm going to just remove myself from that equation completely until I feel like I can discern better. I think it's less about them presenting themselves as queer, but just like telling people, like, oh, I don't like women. And that makes them trust you more. Interesting. Okay. So only a certain section of conservative women expect men to protect them. Any who are queer and slash or progressive literally do not want men to protect them. Just leave them alone. This is a very specific thing though, because I know plenty of women that are claimed to be progressives that still also would like a bit of protection, not necessarily expecting men to protect them, but if we're all out somewhere and somebody starts acting up, and I know for queer folks it can be a bit different, right? Like I'm very protective of my friends. I turn into that person, right? Dommy, muscle mommy. I'm like, look at these arms. Don't try it with my friends, because if you do, it's going to be a problem. You know, like that's. So I understand that that's the case, but also you'll see all those videos. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is conservative women, or maybe it's more women that like buy into more traditional ideas about what men should be doing. I won't say that that's completely uh invalid. um There's also an interesting note to make on Woods. Is domestic and under the governance of the city. It says if you encounter a rando man in absolute wilderness, you can tell that he's wearing why he's there. Woods, you just want normal clothes, hiking shoes. Listing total population of men is quite stupid an argument. There's no encountering 3.5 billion men in the woods. You're encounter local men, local pedophiles and rapists who can see your absolute area. If you don't trust random men in the woods unless it's a gay man community, then I entering the woods with them because they would leave a woman alone. Yes, but also let's not act like gay men don't practice misogyny. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Love y'all, but let's not act like some of y'all aren't out here being just as misogynistic as straight men. Okay. But this is also a thing. People are very literal. I'm like, girl, it's not about the bear. It's not about the bear. Valued only for what we do rather than who we are hits home, especially as a man of color, not all comparing this plight to women's experiences. Not at all a justification for anything, just can be a sad feeling to feel like a bit of a mule when I'm, an author, a teacher, a scholar. These are also things I do, but I'm good at them because of who I am, if that makes sense. Let me stop whining though. Just wanted to say that point was on point. Sorry, I was just reading the second comment like, ooh, ooh. I love when people start a sentence like this. Bro, can I be honest? When I first got together with my boyfriend, one of the first thoughts was, now I don't got to try so hard for women anymore. Before checking myself. Am I an asshole? I swear I'm trying. Oh, Lord, y'all. I value honesty. I value honesty. Not this sounds like a Reddit question. Oh, goodness. Okay. I was going to go through more of these, but I don't really know. Ooh, what will boys and men think seeing this? Hopefully, they'll see this and take the hint that they need to do better and than their predecessors have. Same as some of us are trying to already. Yes. And let's just consider, though, this is the other thing I wanted to bring up. Okay. So we talk online, we do the discourse. You not wrong. You not wrong. Don't be slandering Reddit and Tumblr now. But anyway, we can make jokes about it, but you know. Um, but when I say what are young people, like young people, I'm not just talking about teens, I'm talking about teens as well, but like, you know, kids and adolescents going to think seeing this stuff. The reason that I think about them is because what about the children? You know, because for real, y'all, again, out of one side of your mouth will say, what about the children? But then when I say something like this, you're like, fuck them kids. And it's like, actually, what are we modeling for the children with these discourse debates online? Yes, we should. Hopefully, the kids will see this and be better and all of that stuff. But if we're not giving, if we're not changing the way we're raising them and just expecting them to learn, girl. And you, okay, listen, always fabulous. You're saying I'm not modeling anything. And listen, I don't like to be thrown into the, oh, you're a role model thing. Cause I'm like, bitch, girl, please. But I have to be aware of the fact, again, you are in relation to others. When you were a kid, you noticed things. Our parents acted like we couldn't see and observe things, but we could. Let me take this off for a second. Our parents acted like we couldn't see and observe and knew what was going on, but kids are very aware of things. They pick up on things, and that's how we learn how to be sometimes, you know? We it's not just on the adults in our lives, but it matters, right? And so we just have to be aware of that, right? Like I don't want no damn kids. I don't. But I am aware that I don't know. Kids be seeing that stuff and you can't act in that awareness all the time. I get it. I get it. Especially when you don't want to have kids and you don't really care about having children in your life and blah, 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 blah. It's you're like, I'm an adult and I'm like, there are no kids ever seeing my stuff, you know, but I don't know. I think we have to consider, especially when that study came out of the UK, and it's not to say that that one UK study is the benchmark for every young man now and they all hate feminism. No. Okay, because I didn't even look at the methodology of that study. So I can't fully say that that's anyway. But it is something to note. Why is it that these young men feel this way about feminism? They're online. Clearly, they're online more than we were, and definitely more than those older than us. So, what are they seeing that's making them feel this way? What are they hearing that's making them think this? It's a study. It's in my video. And I know they were a sponsor, but I'm actually just saying this for real. It's you can check it out on Ground News as well. That too. Kids love Andrew Tate. Some of them really do. His fans are young. There are probably a lot of adult men that are like, all right, this man is ridiculous. But there are young men that are probably like, yeah, fucking bitches, make me a sandwich. And maybe they'll grow out of that, but maybe they won't. You know? Does one ever really outgrow misogyny? I don't know. Yes, I have to hope. I have to hope that one does or checks it. Thank you. Oh, yes. I do love the platinum look. I finally found my shade of blonde because before I was using too warm of tones of blonde. So I also need to like retouch my eyebrows up. But yeah, this like icy platinum, it goes with my undertones. I don't get mad at the topic, but going about my day to day life, having to think about shit like this, taking a girl order while at work pisses me off because I don't even know this lady, nor give a fuck. But she looking at me like I'm a killer. Mostly white women and girls, though. I'm a muscular black dude with a resting bitch face. See? I have not heard of the Korean 4B movement. We'll do some Google after. There's there's no such thing as a more chaotic war zone than can you just comment section. Well, you know. Well, I listen. If we go fucking discourse, then let's fucking discourse, okay? If that's what we're doing, then let's fucking do it. And it'll look like chaos. Basically, a bunch of Korean women decided to go celibate. I'm also working on a video about dating apps. And actually, I was going to bring up the fact that Bumble tried to be all like, girl, those advertisements they were doing, like, girl, you know, you don't want to be celibate and blah, 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 blah. And people were like, shut the fuck up, Bumble. Like, stop trying to make us go out and date these dusty dudes and have sex, right? Fight me because of what? What are you fighting? The truth? Mm? Mm? But yeah, like when I hear something like that, I don't immediately go, see, and that's why men are going to be scared with women and blah, blah. I go, why are the women choosing to be celibate? What's going on in the society is causing the women to go, I'm not even, no. And it can be men. You lucky it's the internet. um, but why are the women going celibate? At least those Korean women in that movement. Why are they going celibate? Not just the men have tried me. Maybe that's a factor, right? Men are tried them and they're sick of it. Or there's a traditional dating idea. And if y'all actually are more, please, some of y'all are definitely more familiar with this. So please let me know. I'm literally just speculating right now. So this is all conjecture. Um, but you have a traditional standard of a relationship, maybe a conservative traditional standard of a relationship. And, you know, the internet is vast and we're learning a lot. So we're like, no, I'm not going to put up with this shit. And the other thing of the women have sex and can withhold it and men want sex, you know, it kind of feeds into that idea, that predator prey script that Julia Serrano talks about. But there's also we can't ignore that for a while, at least in this part of the world, and I don't know if it was like this in Korea, so let me know. But there was a point in time where people were just, you know, let's all just go out and have sex and sex positive feminism. And sometimes we need to have a little bit of fun and do the thing, but also we're doing this, but we're doing it with men who are just enjoying that hookup part of it and could really care, that are just as emotionally detached And yet we are also saying that we want to be just as emotionally detached. There's a video that I did where I was quoting from a paper from the Village Voice, and this is something that she was writing in the 70s. So it's still an issue that's going on today. But this idea that we should just treat sex and intimacy the exact same way that men do. And this is why Audre Lorde's essay about the erotic is so great, because it's like, no, there needs to be something else. Sorry, I got so distracted. Yeah, let's maybe read that. Because if I'm going to be honest, I've always been trying to unpack. Oh. I've always tried to unpack this. I have a book copy of it, but I'm going to put it on here just so it's so that y'all can see this. But I've been trying to unpack this this essay for a while. And every time I read it, I think of something different. So I'm going to share it in the chat with y'all. It is in the chat. I can't pin it because I'm on StreamYard, but we're going to read this together. Okay, everybody? Here we go. Here we go. There are many kinds of power, used and unused, acknowledged or otherwise. The erotic is a resource within each of us that lies in a deeply female and spiritual plane. Now, we're getting a little bit gender essentialist, but I'm going to follow her. We're going to follow her on this journey. We're going to humor her. Remember, open mind, not defensive. We're going to follow her on this journey. Firmly rooted in the power of an unexpressed or unrecognized feeling. In order to perpetuate itself, every oppression must corrupt or distort those various sources of power within the culture of the oppressed. Okay, let's read that again because I need to. In order to perpetuate itself, to sustain itself, every oppression, if this oppression that we're talking about in this is patriarchy, must corrupt or distort those various sources of power from within the culture of the oppressed that can provide energy for change. The same thing that I said of like, we're not allowed to, if we're talking about patriarchy specifically, we can't speak the truth of men, right? We can't say, this is a little spiritualistic. Hey, open mind. Let's follow her on this thought. Let's just go with it. Because we do, a lot of us need to adopt somewhat of a spiritual practice. Come on now. We can't just talk about theory all day long and think that that's going to connect to people, you know? So, open mind. For women, this has meant a suppression of the erotic as a considered source of power and information within our lives. We have been taught to suspect this resource, vilified, abused, and devalued within Western society. On the one hand, the superficially erotic has been encouraged as a sign of female inferiority. On the other hand, women have been made to suffer and to feel both contemptible and suspect by virtue of its existence. It is a short step from there to the false belief that only by the suppression of the erotic within our lives and consciousness can women truly be strong. But that strength is illusory, for it is fashioned within the context of male modes of power. Are we following along? So that's what, right? So she's defining this erotic as some sort of, and this is, again, I said the kind of gender essentialism thing as a deeply female spiritual plane. Or maybe she means what I'd say is a deeply feminine and we associate femininity with the female. Again, this is still gender essential. So for me, I have to interpret it in a different way because that language, I get it, but it doesn't fully work for me. And if I'm trying to make it more modern, this is why I don't like reading books. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm following. Oh, God. It's okay, Sharon. I didn't message anyone. You know how I do. I just be popping on here talking shit. But yeah, this sort of internal eroticism that comes from a deeply feminine spiritual plane, let's say. And it's not recognized and it's not acknowledged. And even when it is, it needs to be snuffed out by the quote unquote oppressors. And in this case, we'll say by male energy, by men. This idea of the erotic, this idea of this deeply spiritual. Listen, we're going to keep reading because, again, I've told y'all myself, this paper, I've had to read it a few times because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. And then other times I'm like, I think I know what she's talking about. You know, we're also going to keep in mind this is written when? What? 1978. It was presented in 1978 and was published in Outsider in 1984. So as women, we have come to distrust that power which rises from our deepest and non-rational knowledge. To me, I interpret that as a sort of intuition. You know, and in general, the valuing of, bye Bellamy, is Bellamy leaving? The valuing of soft skills, right? The valuing of quote unquote feminine things. We want to devalue that. We don't appreciate it. But the erotic offers a well of replenishing and provocative force to a woman who does not fear its revelation, nor succumb to the belief that sensation is enough. The erotic has often been misnamed by men and used against women. It has been made into the confused, the trivial, the psychotic, the plasticized sensation. For this reason, we have often turned away from the exploration and consideration of the erotic as a source of power and information, confusing it with its opposite, the pornographic. But pornography is a direct denial of the power of the erotic, for it represents a suppression of true feeling. Pornography emphasizes sensation without feeling. All right. Yeah. See, and this is why sometimes I get annoyed with papers, because sometimes we're like, y'all, how are people supposed to understand this? It doesn't make sense, right? How I interpret it. Again, this is just my interpretation. And again, I've tried to read this a few times. But there's a difference between the pornographic, which is a superficial, which is when you say the word erotic, people immediately think sex. They immediately think strippers, pole dancing. You know, they immediately go to sex. They don't go to, what is this intuitive, feminine, like soft sort of internal energy that is also a valuable thing to our society, right? Bye, Natalie. But yeah, right? Like it's don't confuse the pornographic with the erotic in this. And how I interpret it, it's like not sex but not intimacy. How I kind of see this, okay, let's try and make this make sense for us, right? Because I don't want, I'm about communicating to make sense. So Bridgerton, we're making a hard left, but follow me. Bridgerton has come out, and there's a scene that everybody's talking about, the carriage scene. I have a video coming up on my Patreon for the patrons to let y'all know about that stuff. But in it, I'm talking about this ideal of romance, about this idea of connection, and how so many of us are more into, now what I'm observing may not be true, but in my online spaces, what I see is people being tired of this sex sells. This 2010s, there was so much just gratuitous sex on screen. They wanted to show everything so they could show everything. And yeah, this performance of sensuality and stuff, as opposed to a deep romantic intimacy. And with shows like Bridgerton, you're not seeing pubic mound. You're not seeing dick. You're not seeing titties like that. You might see a bare chest, but you're not really seeing anything. But the sex scenes and the sensuality and the foreplay, the lead up to it in episodes and episodes, it's still very erotic. The show is incredibly erotic, incredibly romantic, but they're not showing overtly what it is. James, I can't stand y'all. But do y'all get what I'm trying to say? Is it making sense a bit? We don't have to stick on reading this the whole way because I know some of y'all are like, oh my God, my eyes are watering. But do y'all get what I'm trying to say? Yes, pubic mound. Yes. But like, I've never seen it. But yeah, in Bridgerton, there's a lot of erotic romanticism. And this is something that we learn when we're dancing, right? It's okay if you need time, Fungus, because also I've been reading this essay for a few years and I still don't sometimes feel like I understand it. So, but Tony's back. He was like, we talking about the erotic? Let me get up in the gig. Yes, Tony, sensuality, the erotic. Yes. Yes. I was waiting for Sharon. Tony, tone. Tony. But even when we're dancing, right? Like I do pole dancing. I'm going to show y'all something, actually. I didn't do this in my Patreon video. Open Instagram and it's just nonsense. Nikki Haley, shut the fuck up. God. Finish them, bitch. Anyway, some of y'all really, like, this is what I mean. Y'all don't handle people with care. Anyway, sorry. That was anyway. Okay. I'm going to show y'all the profile of one of our teachers at the studio and one of my friends. This is Sonia. Now, you just look at her page, right? And you're like, cute. The doll writes dissertations. Okay. She literally teaches courses on this sort of stuff. Not just teaching like dance classes, but teaches like, we call her Mother Superior. Anyway. But when you see her dance, there's an eroticism that she has where she's acknowledging the desire of to be looked at. She calls it the to be looked atness, but also it's watch if you want to or watch if you don't. Either way, I'm going to be doing this. In 8-inch heels, no less. Some of it's more tricksy, right? Oh, there it is. And sometimes people take this as like, oh my God, people think like being sexy is going to save the world. It's not that. Multiple things can be true at once, right? There is something to be said for taking up space, for feeling your body in your eroticism and letting that be outward. It's not the end all be all to political practice or whatever. Sorry, I'm going to actually show you all a proper video. Me, the first comment, mommy. And like, this is the thing, right? Like, because I do the same style of dance, I know how difficult this is. Like, she's making it look incredibly easy. Khadija caught in 4K. Yep. Yep. She's making this look incredibly easy. It is not. There is so much strength and energy in it. And also, just a vibe. And people would inherently look at this and go, well, you clearly want sex. You clearly want this. One, that's the same thing we always do to women. We take their agency away from them and say, there's no way that a woman doing this could be doing this for anything other than male attention, right? For anything other than the pornographic. And having learned this style of dance, for me, I'm mostly showing y'all online to show you how strong I'm getting and how many things I can do. And because I like to perform and it's fun. But truly, there's nothing quite like touching up on yourself and really touching yourself and dancing and feeling yourself in a way that you're aware people are watching you, but you don't care about them because you're having such a lovely time. And it's kind of fun if people are watching because it's like, but see, like all of it. Ugh. 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 Oh, crap. Oh, crap. This just turns into all of us watching pole videos. All of that, like, and see, there was a little while where I posted on my story a few days ago because I was off Instagram, and then my friend told me about this and I got pissed. Like, a few of the girls from our pole studio a couple years ago posted something about like the girls doing incredible, doing a pole outside of a subway station in Montreal. And some people were like, of course, Montreal, girls doing pole stuff outside of it, blah, blah, blah. Other people were in the comments acting snooty, acting all upset, acting like, oh my God, children are there, blah, 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 blah. Right? And I took offense to that. And I was offended because how dare you see people doing something that incredible, especially women lifting their bodies, lifting themselves, and you turn around and go, it's just pornographic. And most of the girls that I know are not going to deny the adjacency to sex work. That's just not something that'll happen. But if we are only thinking it's just sex work and it's just about that, aren't we also centering men and their ideas and their views in it too? Do you know what I'm saying? Not as just all my live stream just creeping Sony's Instagram. This dizzy bitch. Anyway, sorry, I just don't. I'm like, and here's another one. She has a very different style of dance, right? It's definitely more athletic, her style. Oh, they're going to be dancing for Snoop actually in one of his videos. So they're like prepping for it. Hold on. And she used to be a cheerleader. Bitch, Kiana's crazy. Like, Kiana's crazy. Why is she like this? This don't make sense. Ugh, my arms hurt just watching that. And then she's one of my favorites. I love watching her dance. Her style is very slow, very simple looking. But this takes a lot of control. And there's a beauty that I find in it. Like, I'm not looking at it immediately going, I am aroused. Yeah, it's hot, obviously, but it's also just incredibly like, I don't know. And maybe it's just because I do this, right? So fair. But that's what I mean, right? Dancing captures the heart in a way that, like, I don't know. Like, this is not easy what she's doing. And a lot of these girls, you look at their bodies and it seems like, oh, their bodies are so nice, blah, blah, blah. Look at the muscles in some of their backs. And not all of us our muscles will show visibly. Like, some people will have the strength and their muscles are not going to be showing like that, right? Another one, she likes to fuse art with her pieces. She's incredibly athletic, incredibly strong, even if the visible muscles aren't like outwardly showing. Also has a different style. Another one. Yes. Like that right there, girl, please. Please. Me going through my whole list of pole dancers. We'll be here all day. We will be here all day. She is another one. This one right here. This one right here. Look at what she's doing with one arm. You are no better than these men. And you see, the thing about this is you'll see women doing this and men immediately go, oh God, why are they showing so much of their body? Why are they whatever? Well, one, you need to stick on the pole. And if you're really strong, you can wear more clothing for sure. But some tricks you just need skin. Some tricks you just need skin. This, I'm sorry. Like, how can you see that and only think about the pornographic? Exactly. I'm looking respectfully with admiration because yeah, the girls are hello. But it's not easy. So this is my dream move, you guys. It's called a spatchcock. Okay, sorry. I'm sharing my like Instagram version. Um yeah, there's a spatchcock move on here that I want to learn so badly. And I need to have flexibility for it and strength and a whole bunch of other shit. Damn. This oh my god. No, it's not that. Anyway, I say all of that to say, one, fuck Nikki Haley. Two, again, every time I see this on my page, I'm like, bitch. Um, I really don't know. I got distracted. I'm sorry, y'all. Once I start watching poll videos, I'm done. It's over. It's a wrap. It's over. Once I start watching poll videos, it's done. Oh god. About to run to my pole right now. Exactly. I might actually, because I skipped my Muay Thai class, so I might just do a little bit of dancing after this. Um, yeah, like truly, some people are actually horrific. Like, actually horrific. Anyway. Oh. But yeah, anyway, what else are we talking about? I don't really have much to add. Also, I really recommend y'all try pole if you want to, though. I mean, it's not a cheap hobby, to be honest. The only reason I can really pay for it is because I exchange certain like filming stuff for pole time, and because of this operatica stuff, it's more of a business for me. So it's like a business expense for my classes, if that's just me being honest. But listen, I mean, I couldn't lift myself when I first started. Like I could barely climb. And I say all of that not to be like, everybody obviously has different body things and yada, yada, yada. But like truly, where is it? I mean, just try one or two. Just try one or two classes to see how you feel. Look at the doll. Look at okay. Look at the doll. I was over here. I was just like, tee hee hee. I don't really know what I'm doing. Tee hee. What's going on? My feet are not pointed. I look wild. I was falling a lot. I was learning slowly to climb, slowly learning to hold myself up, slowly learning split type things. But it was hard. That's an inversion. I couldn't even go upside down. It was painful. It's still painful. I know I did look like a little panda trying to climb a bamboo stick. I was like, poop, 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 poop. And then eventually you get better at it. And it becomes a lot easier. Like most things, like adults should have hobbies, y'all. If I travel somewhere now, I'd try to take a pole class. You know? But also, I know it's also funny because y'all don't ever see me from like the waist down. You literally only see me from like here up. That's so funny. But last point I'll add on this pole thing is that men do it too. Oh, wait, whoops. If you follow Conscious Lee, his cousin Reggie got into pole dancing. And it's my favorite thing. He makes songs.
Oh, yeah. That's majestic. I just know it. Ouch. The butterfly. Oh, yeah, it's on. Let me show you how it goes. Yeah. They get into your chopper now. Yeah. Outside leg ain't in hand out. Yeah. Squeeze the cheeks to keep it neat. Yeah. Extend it out if you want some heat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You.
Right?
Y'all keep saying we need to make this a trend for real. All right, let's do it then. Like, where you at? Oh, every time. And what's funny is I can post a video of me straight, almost bucket naked, drawers, briefs, loincloth, whatever you want to call it, doing pull-ups on the.
Gotta find my joint up. I miss you. 3 times.
Right?
Yeah. Sticking to the
Martini,
code.
come on, Martini. Not the people that's chat getting thirsty.
Gotta find my joint up.
This is Consciously's cousin. There's a video of both of them dancing, and I was laughing because they have P Valley in the background. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It's so funny. Ah!
when ladies like tag team is over, they trust each other. They trust each other so much because I'm so uncoordinated. Kim Fuck might get punched. I'm scared. When ladies like tag team is over, they trust each other. They trust each other so much because I'm so uncoordinated.
But see, it's, I don't know. I just,
it's too soon, too far. Push the fucking pack off of the porch or break a pound down. Get the scrap if it happen to blow, it makes a round sounds. Pussycat on my lap, push it back and go to town down. Putting rap on my back and I'm black and snatching crowns. I came back around like a nigga selling cracking pounds.
see, it's for a little bit of everybody, man. A fun way to exercise. And I love when I see men on the pole, especially cis straight men, because I'm like, see? Okay, y'all. Okay, this chat's getting a little thirsty. This chat's getting a little dehydrated. I asked y'all if y'all drank water earlier. Some of y'all. Honestly, I would add archery. That would be kind of fun. I kind of like developing like skills that'll also work in the woods or something. You know? But anyway, any final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Pole dance on the trunk of a tree would be very difficult and very painful. A tree would have to be like really rooted into the ground, and it would also have to be a little bit thinner because like, anyway. Oh yes, super chats. Let me see the other super chats. Apologies, y'all. Okay. I live as a man, but I'm so done with, quote, being a man. The pursuit of masculinity doesn't make me happy or healthy. It either wastes my time or actively makes my life worse. Working on letting it go. Damn. But yes. As someone who also has two little brothers, it's hard to see the way my mom socialized them and how society will view them as two black men. I do try to be a safe space for them, but it's hard. Same. I can be many things. I am femme as fuck. Just love 885. Muffin Poots, of course. Hope you're feeling a little better in the chat, Muffin. About the bear disconnect, many men are socialized to be prepared to be violent. They are expected to commit violence and are communal shamed if they don't. They're supposed to be the good violence. They're supposed to be the good violence. Go bear. One could also think of it as the fluid/affective. Oh, when we were talking about the erotic. Yes. Okay. When my girlfriend says general bad things about men, I disagree, but know that if I bring it up, the girls are going to get defensive/mad. I tried it once and it did not go well. Girl group think sad face. Oh. Muffin, you're blocked from commenting now. Muffin, you're not allowed to comment anymore now. Y'all, it's my fault. It's me. It's my fault. You know, I chose to be very unserious. I set the tone. It starts here. Yes, Muffin was the one asking if the bear was hot. No, Greg. No justice for Muffin. No, Jalen. You see, y'all, no. Y'all are over here doing a little. Where's Muffin? Is Muffin still in the chat? Yes, Muffin, you are in a timeout. Are there any bear pole videos? I was actually about to look up some, though. It's most likely like a person dressed up as a bear doing pole. Most likely. What do you mean there are? I don't think that there's a video of bears pole dancing, y'all. Girl. I hate everything about this chat. I hate everything about everything. I hate everything about everything. We have been on a journey today, folks. This is the last thing we're doing. I wanted to do something funny. Oh, that is hilarious. Y'all, 15 years ago.
If you really want it, if you got feeling, get down on it. Come on, if you really want it, got feeling. You gotta do it if you really don't wanna dance. By standing on the wall, get your back up off the wall. Tell me, how you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance?
We just said never approach wildlife. This is wild. Okay, this is the last one.
Some trees, it seems, are particularly suited to favourites and will travel long distances to visit them. Some itches just have to be scratched. There are now around 30 bears in this one valley. As they rub, each leaves an individual and recognizable scent. So the tree soon carries a list of who's around, which might help individuals to avoid a fight. To best spread their scent, they really have to put their back into it.
Not that bear from Houston. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get on. Somebody come get somebody. Okay, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Not the bear listening to Tyrant. Oh my God. Okay. You need to apologize to Poots. Clearly, I need to apologize to Poots. I need to apologize to Muffin. Muffin is not in the chat anymore, but if Muffin is, or when Muffin comes back, I'm a Taurus, so this means a lot. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being whatever. I'm sorry, okay? Muffin, you are out of your timeout whenever you decide to return. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. It's been 3 hours. I didn't expect to be on here this long. I just wanted to talk about the video and chat more with y'all. And we went on a long, different. We've gone on a journey today, haven't we? Wasn't it fun? You know, an interesting time. Yeah. Hope y'all had a good time. If you are close to a man in your life and you trust them, give them a hug. If you are a man who has women in your life, listen to them a bit more. You know, just be a little more receptive. Just a bit. Yeah. You know, or not. I'm not the boss of you. I can't tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. Honestly, like, just okay. You know what? Actually, let me just say this. Handle each other with a bit of care and consideration. Handle each other with care, consideration, and discernment. That's it. Tony, you want to say bye? His ass is sleeping. Tony, come here. Come here. You want to say bye to everybody real quick? Come here. Come here. Oh, I'll turn the camera this way so you guys can see him. So that everybody can see Tony before we go. Tony, the dolls want to say goodbye. Kiss. Can I kiss you? Can I kiss you? Can I kiss you? I love him. Oh, wait. Wrong side. Tony. I'm sorry I interrupted your sleep, but I just really wanted to bother you. Come here. Okay, so now he's decided to move. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Tony, bro, you cannot be doing this to people. Oh yeah. Oh, that's your booty package. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You slutty tabby. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. He's having such a nice time. He's purr. Was it too much? I'm obsessed with him. Not free my boy Muffin Poots. Good night. All right. All right. I love you. I love you. Anything else you want to say? You want to say anything to the people at home? All right, so Tony's going to go to bed. Isn't it right? So regal. Y'all, I hope Muffin sees this. I have so much hair on my mouth. Okay. Anything you want to say to the people? Oh, he's going to sleep. Okay. He is going to bed. We are never alone. God is with us. I'm sorry. Okay. April in Paris. Chestnuts in blossom. Imagine the credits are rolling. Holiday tables under the tree. April in Paris. This is a feeling no one could ever reprieve. I never knew the charms of spring. Never met it face to face. I'm singing Tony to sleep. Never knew my heart could sing. Never missed a warm embrace till April in Paris. Who can I run to? What have you done to my heart? Tony, I'm trying to sing you to sleep. Look at me. These are the credits, y'all. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. Feel like I'm clinging to a cloud I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. You can see that you're leading me on, and it's just what I want you to do. He's falling asleep slowly. Don't you notice how? Oh shit! Tony. He's going to eat. Anyway, never mind. Okay, I'm gonna go, y'all. Clearly, he don't give a fuck. I was trying to sing him to sleep, and I thought it'd be a cute way to end the stream, but he said no. Okay. Bye, y'all.